I got you, people. So there's a lot of people with animosity, right? Because this young, charismatic guy, he's charismatic. You see how he talks and things like that. He got a grin on his face. But anyway, the election between these three people, you had the color man and the two Caucasians, right? And they upset because the youngest mayor in the history of America has won an election, and it's a person that they don't really get along, right? Not only that he's a color person, right? He's from this so-called Islamic faith. Now, everybody thinks just because he's Islamic or he's Hindu, Indian or whatever, the religion that he's into or whatever, which I don't know, you know, even if it is, I don't care. I'm sure a lot of people don't care, right? You cannot force religion on somebody else if they don't accept it. So anyway, the guy won the election, right? Fair and square. The people have chosen who they want to be mayor of New York City. Now, these people are upset, right? You know the young man, right? Mr. Mayor Mandani, right? He's popular now. You know, I think he's gonna make good, you know, commercials and things like that. Man, he's got to get sponsored because right now he's the man to talk of America, right? Mandani, right? The Hindu, Indian, they think that he's an Islamic and he's gonna turn everybody's faith to Islam. You know, how crazy is that? Every time somebody of color wins something, they accuse him that he's gonna do something to the world that everybody's gonna convert. You know, I don't care about what religion the person is into or whatever. You know, that's everybody's own preference if they want to become whatever religion they want. So everybody thinks now that everybody's going to wear a jihad, cover their mask, you know, probably, you know, have some dynamite sticks in their hands or whatever, you know, and praise to Allah and shout Allah Rahman and all these things. You know, these people are so hypocritical about all these things, but we got all kinds of dominations in this world and nobody goes crazy about anybody being other than Islamic, right? Everybody's like panic and think, because so-called people think that the Islamic people or the people that practice this religion or whatever they practice, unless they're fake, that they're gonna submit everybody to be Islamic now. Come on now, that's impossible. And there's nobody in this world that is of one religion and everybody follows. Everybody have their own religion, their own practices, and their own belief. That's it. If you don't want to be Islamic, you're not Islamic. You don't want to have a religion, you don't have a religion. You know, that's their own preference. And everybody's upset that now all these people supposedly that going to leave these states and go to other countries or other states, really, they don't want these people that are coming from here to other states, and nobody want these European white folks anymore. Everything is a problem with them, and everything to them is a fight, a racial thing, right? I don't care if you black, brown, whatever. Well, everybody says that, right? I usually don't say that, but you know, just to get the video going, things like that. Because it's not a color thing, and it's, you know, it's a race thing. Everything is a race thing, meaning that everybody's racing to put their people on top. But it looks like only one type of people that will want others that if not from that race of people, you can't get in. And there's always a combative problem and animosity if somebody of color wins any election in any office. You know, that's what it's all about. The people that had conquered this country and the whole world don't want to let anybody prosper. They want to keep them down. They want to keep them getting handouts from the government, and you gotta obey if you want all these free things. So they think that people can't survive. So now people are screaming, supposedly the rich, the people that got money enough to leave, let them leave. I said that in one of my comments. I put it in somebody's comment. We don't need them. They want to leave, let them leave. Leave the ones that want to leave, and let the ones that want to stay. Listen, people are going to survive with the rich or without the rich. It's not like the rich pays a check or writes out a check to everybody to pay their bills, right? The rich doesn't deal with the poor, and the poor doesn't deal with the rich. It's always been like that, and it's going to be like that. So I don't make a fuss. So whoever wants to leave, leave. That means you're not wanting. Nobody's gonna want you. You're a bailout. When things don't go your way, you want to cry and ridicule other people, your opponent that you lost against, and you're just a bigot. Just simple fact, you're a bigot. And if you want to leave, go leave. Nobody needs you anyway. Listen, no matter if you're rich, there's no way you're gonna go in this world that's not gonna be people of minority or lesser than you. You rich, you're rich. That's the only thing that makes you different, that you got money and you can go wherever you want. But nobody is going to like you anyway, because you so stuck up in your head with your wealth, and you think that you could look down on everybody just because they don't have your status. So I just say, listen, if you're going to leave, you're going to leave regardless. And nobody cares. You can't survive here and the city, the most populous city in the world, New York City, you're not going to make it nowhere else. Because when things don't go your way, you're going to stop crying and bitching, like I always say. You know, that's what these people are coming to. They're becoming their bitches. You know, the women are becoming man, and the man becoming bitches and sissies, you know. If they don't get their way, they start a tantrum. And, you know, they want to ridicule and they want to sabotage another people's accomplishment. You know, this guy did it the right way. He joined the election and he had a debate, and the people had chose that the color folk that you don't like, the Islamic young man, won the election by a landslide, right? 50%. And you know, the other two just they didn't cut it. And nobody wants to elect people that keep on running for office, leave for 4 years and come back and get reelected. If you didn't do nothing at the times you was holding office, there's no need for you to come back. Nobody is gonna vote for you again. That's what's happening right now. Young people are finally to find out that they don't need to get advice for other people like that or older to tell them who to vote for and what's going on. You know, these young kids, they just want to live their life. They don't want to hear about wars, about no jobs. Imagine you go to school, you take out a loan, you take a career course, and you come out, there's no jobs. You know, so why are you struggling so much if you're not going to have the opportunity to use your college degree, things like that, because there's no jobs for you out here. You know, there's not even the minimum, you know, factory manufacturing assemblies in New York anymore. Everybody has left because nobody wants to be in America anymore. You know, people come to America, make their money and leave. That's what they do. They go back to their country after they build the empire over there and they leave. Who cares? You know, that's how people are here. People don't want to hear about any other people's problems. And everybody's here on their own now. Everybody's in survival mode. And everybody's going to survive. No matter if the rich people leave. Doesn't matter. You're going to have to walk amongst others, right? Underneath you. That's the way it is. You know, you want to go rent a rocket from Elon Musk and go to the moon. Go to the moon. Ain't nobody cares where you're going. Right? Everywhere you go, you're going to start problems and start a war. And you're not going to get along with your neighbor. Things like that. As I was saying, you're going to come right back down to the same place you began. So don't give me none of that BS that the rich is leaving, that the cops are gonna quit. Where you gonna go? Where you gonna get higher? America's the place where people get benefits and things like that. That's why New York City is the most hiring that everybody goes to, right? Everybody wants to be a cop these days because, right, the benefits are there and you could do all the corruption and still get covered and get defended and still enjoy getting paid while you're on vacation or while you're being investigated, right? You're still receiving a check. That's why most everybody goes to the NYPD and politics, because everybody could do corruption while you holding government office or city office and still get a paycheck. You know, most of these government people that got laid off, they're underneath. That's why they lost their jobs and they still on a standby, but they're not getting paid, right? You got to work, but you're not getting paid. But let me see if you do that to a politician or the police department, the fire department, see if they're going to work or not. They're going to take their time answering the phone calls, right? They're going to be on their phones, chatting and things like that. They're not going to answer the calls. So it's like that. And I don't think any cop is going to stop to attend somebody else when it's chaos where he lives and he got to attend to his family. You know, it's just not going to work. So I don't care if other people say they're going to leave, and leave where? Where you going to go? You know? Nowhere to go. You here stuck with everybody else. Nowhere where you go, there's chaos all around the world. Why? Because people like those two people that lost the election and everybody that support them is a bigot. You know, they think that they're superior to everybody else and they got to win, or else, you know, the government is going to get shut down, or it's not going to work. You know, Caucasians think that without them, this world cannot be run. How they know that? Before they got here, the world was already running. The world had a system. People been here for thousands and millions of years, generations, and they had lived without no government, without no money, no heat. Then they survived throughout the winters without technology. And now we have all this technology, and all we got is chaos. We can't even fix the simplest thing. We always got to look it up. You know, we need engineers to put a door and things like that. Come on, before everybody did something, they did it without no engineering, no paper, no tools, and everything came out right, and they lived thousands of years, and this living and survival was passed down from generation to generation. Now we got all this technology, and we can't get shit right? Just because a person is a different background or ethnicity or race, you don't like it, because everybody wants to choose their own supposedly superior race, that they can't get anything right. It's the fault of our government that got all this mess going on all around the world. And you got to blame the Caucasians, because they're the ones that started all this mess. And now they want to fix it by like ridiculing the people that they enslaved or brought over here to work for them, and you know, and bring them revenue. And that's how they got their status. You know, they got their riches. You know, they didn't work. I mean, they worked before, but their own people were slaves. You think that white folks was enslaved before? Of course they were. You know, well, there was just Europeans. They were slaves. They was killing each other. They was kidnapping each other. You know, it's like that. But when they found out that there was more people out there, that's when everything changed. They start, you know, okay, we're not gonna enslave you no more, but you ain't gonna be rich like us. But we're gonna put you in a position that you can tell somebody else that's not like you, or of your color, of your race, you give them ultimatum. That's how it is. But anyway, the thing is that people don't care if the rich leave. So what? They leave, so what? Let them live among their own, and, you know, buy their own little galaxy out there. They think that they can't live among the people, so let them leave. That's what I say. And if cops want to quit and everybody, so what? Rehire people. There's plenty of people that's looking for jobs, and they could be skilled. There's plenty of people in the military that could use these jobs, and they could probably understand people more better than you know, the police force and government officials, because all they think is about themselves. What can they gain and what benefits they can get, and keep their status up there and pass it down to their families, you know, and that's wrong. People are tired of that already. People, with that, I let you go. Stop being a bigot. Let people excel like they want to. Stop holding them back. With that, I let you go. Think about that.